Well, it's the age-old question. When you're hiring new staff at your church, should you hire for youth or for experience? We're going to talk about that today on our episode of the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Hi there. Thanks for joining us. My name's Todd Rhoades. I'm one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com, and today we're talking about the key to building your dream church team. Should you hire fresh faces or seasoned souls? And I've got a link that I put down in the show notes below for you on this, a blog post that I wrote a little while back on this. But it's really I get asked a lot in my work at Chemistry Staffing, Todd, should we hire young people, maybe that are a little greener in ministry, maybe don't have the experience, or should we hire older candidates that have the experience and the proven track record? And really, it depends. That's a perfect consultant answer, right? It depends. So let's unpack this a little bit. Let's talk a little bit first about what a young candidate, what a young staff member could bring to your team, and then what hiring an older or a more experienced candidate can bring to your team, and then talk about how to decipher which route you should go. Okay, so let's talk about hiring young people and maybe just out of college, just out of seminary for your next staff opening. Here are some things that they're going to bring that maybe you wouldn't get necessarily with an older, more experienced candidate. They're going to bring more enthusiasm. And part of that is just because they're green and they're eager and they're ready to do. They're going to be willing to try new things. They're going to be excited. This is what God's called them to do. And they really, finally, for the first time in their lives, really get to dig into your church and really make a difference. That's really what we're called to do. And a lot of times with more experienced candidates, they've been there, done that. And on the enthusiasm scale, maybe it wanes a little bit after the years. But with young candidates, you're almost always going to get a high level of enthusiasm. Not always, but a lot of times you will. You're also going to get a candidate or a staff member that's going to bring some fresh perspectives, some new ideas, some outside the box thinking. Now, if your church is one that doesn't like those kind of things or doesn't value those kind of things, then that's something to take into consideration as well. But by and large, younger candidates, those that are maybe a little greener, are going to bring some fresh perspectives, some ideas to try. And a lot of times that can be really beneficial to your staff team to have somebody with enthusiasm and fresh perspectives. They're also going to, in most cases, be a little bit more adaptable to new technologies and maybe even a little bit more open to trends that are happening in the church world. And in most cases, they're willing to learn. They're tech savvy, they have the skills, but they're willing to learn new ideas, new ways of doing things. A lot of them are, if you're in a church that does well at building in to people and mentoring people, you get the right person and they can be mentored and really turn out to be, we call them kind of rock stars in the making. And another thing to consider is that younger candidates appeal to younger demographics. So if you're working with a lot of younger people in your church, young families, singles, college age, a staff member in that age range may work out really well for you. Okay, so those are some of the things to look forward to in a younger candidate. Let's talk for a second about older candidates, hiring experienced candidates for your next church staff position. One of the things a lot of them are going to bring, older candidates, more seasoned candidates, are going to bring wisdom. They have more knowledge, they have more experience. They've been there, done that. They know they've paid the stupid tax, so that you don't have to have them pay the stupid tax while they're on your payroll. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. So they bring a lot of wisdom. And they also, a lot of times, just through honing that leadership muscle, they have some stronger leadership skills. So they're going to be able to step in, hit the ground running as far as leadership skills. Not everybody, but a lot of your older, more established candidates do that. They also bring some established connections and networks a lot of times that will be helpful, not only in the ministry that you hire them to do, but also just for you as a staff and you as a church as a whole. And for the most part, they also bring an added level of stability and some long-term commitment. Older candidates tend to be a little bit more stable. They don't take off on you after a year and a half, and they're really in there for the long haul, especially once they have kids and families and those kind of things. Stability is much more prone in an older candidate. And another added bonus is that they can serve as mentors to some of your younger employees. We talked about mentoring in the first part, but they can definitely help to mentor younger employees and even volunteers. So how do you make the decision? Should you hire somebody young or somebody maybe older and a little bit more experienced? And as I said, it depends. It depends on your specific needs. It depends on the goals of your church. Do you have a clearly defined job description and requirements and qualifications for that? Do you know what strengths you're looking for in your next staff member? Do you know what the weaknesses that you're looking for? Do you know the desired skills and the desired experience? How important is long-term commitment to you? All these things are things that you can take into consideration as you determine whether or not what to go with, more of a fresh face or a seasoned soul. Here's what I'll tell you is that I think both and older candidates bring a lot to the table. And a lot of times we get pigeonholed into this is exactly what we're looking for. At chemistry, we find a lot of times we're surprised that some of the candidates we find maybe don't fit exactly that tight range of what you're looking for, but man, they're going to be great at your church. A lot of times younger people can really bring a breath of fresh air and excitement and a really good skill set to a ministry. And in some cases, older candidates can as well. It's not as much an age thing as it is a skills and a talent and just how they fit what you're looking for, strengths and weaknesses, requirements, qualifications, all of that, desired skills and expertise. Those are just important factors. We're going to dig into future episodes here on the Healthy Church podcast, but I would encourage you, if you're looking for a staff member, this is what I tell people overall is remain open. Keep an open mind. Look for the skills and the qualifications and the requirements, the strengths and weaknesses that you need in that position first, and then look for somebody regardless of their age, regardless of their stage of life, and see who fits best for exactly what you need at your church. That will serve you well long term, and it'll help you to keep from getting pigeonholed in, hey, we need somebody that's between 25 and 35, which really legally you're not supposed to do now anyway, right? Okay, any questions on this or any future podcast suggestions you have for us, you can always catch me online at podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back here on